It's July 10th, 2024. It's 9:01 a.m. This is for the opioid abatement notice of funding pre-application meeting. My name is Angela Jones in the Office of Purchasing, and with me in the office,
Elizabeth Kissel, Governmental Liaison.
Tammy Plant, Governmental Liaison.
and joining us via Teams. Let's start with David.
David Miller, Purchasing Manager.
All right, and Richard, introduce yourself, please.
I'm Richard Lynch from Reentry Alliance Pensacola.
I'm sorry, Richard, I heard part of that. Can you tell me your company name again?
Reentry Alliance of Pensacola, REAP.
All right, so I will hand it over to you, Liz, if you have anything to go over.
I don't have anything specific to go over. Richard, I'm not sure if you've had a chance to read through the notice of funding availability for the opioid abatement project. And if you had any questions, I guess we can start with. But there were some funding priorities in there. There was priority 1, which is the performance measures. Priority 2, the innovation and evidence-based programs, and then priority 3, which is the strategic partnerships.
Right now, we haven't got any questions. We just kind of read over it real quick, but we haven't really dove into it just yet. It's not due until September.
Correct.
So we're working on other grants right now through the Department of Justice.
Okay. I guess, is there anything specific that people typically would cover?
If we cover the scope of work,
Okay.
if you want to go over that. But you kind of.
So just, I'm just going to kind of skim through this. So the funding availability for this particular notice of funding for year 1 was $2,489,263. We will continue to get additional funding through the next several years. The exact number of years has not been determined, but it will be the next several years. So these notice of fundings probably will be released more than once for folks. The biggest thing is the priorities, the performance measures. So the performance measures selected for the projects must report on and demonstrate progress towards making significant reduction in the use and abuse of opioids. And there's 6 ones that are listed in the notice of funding: the reduction in the number of fatal overdoses, reduction in the number of non-fatal overdoses, emergency department visits, increase in substance use disorder treatment to reduce opioid overdoses, increase in access to substance use disorder treatment programs, increase access to substance use prevention programs, and increase in substance use disorder training, treatment, and prevention in the criminal justice department. So those are the big things that we're trying to target with this funding. In the notice of funding, there is a scoring section, which is starts on page 10. There are the application minimum requirements that are pass-fail categories. And those are, you actually have to service Escambia County, submitted the letter of determination from the IRS confirming your organization's federally tax exempt status, submitted a copy of your organization's current W-9, submitted a copy of your organization's 2021 or 2022 tax return. You may also submit a 2020 tax return along with the explanation for late filing, a copy of your organization's most recent 2 financial statements with audit if you had one, able to operate program on a reimbursement basis. That is a big one. So that means that your organization will need to spend the funding and then submit backup documentation. That would include invoices, proof of payments before the county would reimburse you on this particular funding. organization has quarterly reporting capacity that would be sent to Escambia County just so that we could fulfill our reporting requirements. And then include at least one of the priority core strategies in Schedule A and or one of the approved uses in Schedule B. And then there are some bonus points that are available, partnering with public or private organizations such as the CORE program or community health or kind of any other partner in the area. Any kind of funding match that would be able to be provided. That your program is specific and measurable. Provides free services to Escambia County, so there's no cost for what you're offering. And then you have a mobile unit available as well. So those are kind of the bonus points. And I'll let Tammy go ahead and add in anything that she wants to mention.
I'll point out the fatal clause. So applications that don't have these requirements won't be considered. If they're received after the stated due date and time. If they're received from an agency not eligible to apply, they have to be a local nonprofit that serves Escambia County, not on the excluded parties list. And they have to have provided direct services for 24 months prior to the application due date. Or if the application is not signed by the appropriate agency official designated to execute contracts.
And then the other thing I just want to mention was the critical dates and timelines. So today, obviously, is the pre-application meeting. So after this, the deadline for any additional questions on the notice of funding is going to be August 16th, which is a Friday at 5 p.m. And then we have committed to have all of the Q&As answered and responded to and shared with everybody by Friday, September 6, 2024. And the deadline for all applications is Friday, September 13th, 2024. And then we will be ranking them. And then the next step is the notice of advancement to the Opioid Abatement Board for review. That will be Friday, October 11th, 2024. And then based upon the opioid abatements approval, the next step would be for it to go to the BCC board for final approval.
Okay.
I think the only other thing I can think of is that the project is expected to begin servicing within 6 months of the award date. That's good.
All right. Did that spark any questions for you, Richard, or are you still okay?
I'm still good.
And there is no match required for the funding. You just get bonus points if you do have a match, just to be clear. That's not required.
Okay. Sounds pretty straightforward.
Yeah. And there is an email address where the questions can be submitted, and that's on the first page of the notice of funding availability, which is opioid-abatement@myescambia.com.
Okay.
And I think that's covers it in a nutshell.
All right. Mr. Wibbs was in another meeting, so he couldn't make it.
Okay, no problem.
So if he has any questions, we'll be sure to send them along to that email address.
Perfect. All right, Angela, I don't think you have anything else.
All right, I don't have anything else to add. Richard, if you're good, I guess we can go ahead and end the meeting. And then just keep in mind the date. And then if you have any questions that come up after you review the document as well, submit them to the email address.
Will do.
All right, thank you all.
Richard.
I'm going to stop the
Thank you.
recording.